Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League, using my over 20 plus years of coaching experience, coaching all over this world. I'll give you a different insight into goals, the way they're scored. I say tell you from a coach's point of view. Maybe you want to become a coach, or use what I say to become a better player, so you don't make the same mistakes as a lot of these muppets in the Premier League do. A lot of it comes down to a lack of concentration, to be honest. It's one of the most common things of why players, with all the ability in the world, can't quite manage to do what they need to do. Stop eating sugar, it helps. Right, so what we're doing right now is we're looking at the total destruction of West Ham. Now, West Ham's a funny old club because they're one of the highest points they've been in like 20, 30 years. They won a European Cup last year. They're not playing good West Ham football, but I did like what someone said the other day. What was it? Yeah, if we played the West Ham way, we'd get relegated again. So I kind of see that point of view, but they seem to be falling off a cliff right now, and I have a funny feeling the players have kind of given up playing for the manager. And I'm going to show you a couple of little examples where you can just see players aren't really trying as hard as the others. Now, obviously, Arsenal are trying, much more because they're in a title race. They've got something to go for. They are really trying to get that Premier League, trying to get that extra spot that they gave away last year. But on this header here, when we're watching this ball come in, this is just sheer willpower. Watch Bush as it drops in, boom, jumps over, smashes it into the net. And this is what we're looking at here, and we're talking about the desire. Watch this little circle here. Watch what happens. One's trying to win the ball and trying to score. The other two are just kind of making it look like it. Look, watch when he jumps up here. His eyes on the ball. He's going up, but he's not really getting anywhere close to it. He's not. Look at the difference in leap. He's not even jumping up to try to stop this guy. He's just kind of there. Yeah, all right. As soon as that ball goes in, the goal goes in, West Ham heads just completely seem to drop. And let's get on to the next goal, because we've got a lot to discuss here. You can see here, this is the through ball that's played through, and you can see, obviously, how high the line is, right? So, West Ham, I think they beat Arsenal away. I think it was their last win, actually, in the Premier League. And they are generally good at holding, sitting back, waiting for that counter-attack, waiting to try to get the ball up to Jared Bowen and then try to build off it. If they've got a high line like this, they don't have the quality to deal with a Saka or something like that. You think, but Cash, it's the Premier League, you should be able to do that. No. Soon as they lose the ball, they all come back and defend properly. That's what's been making them solid. That's what, what's his bloody name? I keep forgetting the name's coach. Got fired from United. David Moyes. Does drop back, hold, wait, build and protect, especially when you're only 1-0 down, because you're still in the game at 1-0. When you play with such a high line like that, the next thing you know, Saka's in behind, Dosh goes in, gets tripped by the keeper here. Not really, though. It's one of those, see, here's my frustration. In my world, that's never a penalty, just like the Jota one a couple of weeks ago, if you remember that dive. I think he goes to ground too early. I think he could have probably stayed on his feet. He knows what he was doing. He could have got there and just put the ball in the goal. It would have been so much better. Would have been a good quality goal round the keeper. Yeah, there we go. But he didn't do it. He does take his penalty, completely wrong foots the keeper, slots it into the old net box and gets a well-deserved goal. But it all comes from that high line. I don't know what West Ham are trying to do. I know they were at home trying to push on, but it's Arsenal. You're going to get done. You just need to do what you've been doing for pretty much most of the season. And I want to know if David Moyes, because I've listened to a lot of the West Ham fan base talking about they wanted to play a different way, blah, blah, blah. We've got better players now. And I wonder if David Moyes, in the back of his head over the last couple of games, has started capitulating away from his game plan that has been working for so long, and he's trying to do a couple of little things different so he can come out and say, look, I told you so. I tried to do it like blah, 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 and we got beat 6-0. Or maybe he's just had enough and he wants to get fired, so that might be it. So what you don't see, or they don't show you in any of the highlights when I was watching this game, is old matey here that scores the header comes over to Declan Rice and says, put the ball right about there, walks back over here and tells him exactly where he wants the ball. He runs back, bosh, in it comes, and then he jumps up and puts it straight into the net box. But this is what I'm talking about. It looks like the players have kind of given up, because there's two Arsenal players right there looking to exactly where the ball is, bump, and there's no West Ham players, tracking that run and going with them. And it just kind of looks like, well, they've just had enough, if that makes sense. It's just like, don't really care anymore. And that's honestly how it looked. Now, it might just be this game, but it just looked like they didn't want to bother to mark the run from there. Like, it's just tiny little run and an easy header. Yeah, especially considering they told him exactly where the ball was going to go. It's just almost unacceptable, really, at this level. But there we go. Let's get on to the next guy. I try to pause this so you can actually try to see how many shirts, yellow shirts, are attacking here and how many claret and blue shirts are trying to win this ball. There, 1, 2, 3. I know it's a bit blurry. You got 1 and 2. I can't, honestly, it's so quick that you can't really get a good sort of screen grab of it. And I'm really bad with the old technology anyway. But there we go. But that's called desire. That's, of course, again, here's the other thing. I didn't even think about this. Maybe the keeper should have done better as well. I mean, it is in the near post. It is right bloody next to him. Yeah, maybe he could have done a lot better on that as well. And this is more of what I'm talking about. West Ham kind of look like they've given up and not really playing for their manager. They're running. Arsenal are moving forward here. They're not on the break. Look at the casual running from these other West Ham players. They haven't been like that for in any of the games I've seen them play last year. They will all be running back, trying to win that ball, nick that ball, trying to get a toe poke on it. He would try to do anything to get it. And also, when you watch Kurt Zuma's reaction to when the goal goes in, all right, keep your eye on him as this play goes forward here. Ball goes out here, his body shape's all wrong, so he's got to do one of these horrible things where people are facing this way. Now he's going to have to run around this way, and the minute as soon as he goes this way, the guy's going to go back around that way. It's just terrible defending here all over. He doesn't really... So how you're supposed to do it is this, right? So it's really hard to sort of describe on a computer screen drawing. It's easier to show you. So he needs this foot to come around this way. Okay, because as he's coming that way, you need to block him this way. And as your foot goes that way, then you can go that way. So if he carries on this way, you can stop him. Okay, and if he goes this way, you're already primed to go that way anyway. He does it completely wrong. So basically, think of this as his left shoulder here, right? See if you can understand it this way. If you stand up and you do it, you'll understand it. That's his left shoulder. He wants his left shoulder to stay still, and he wants to pivot on his right shoulder and go around that way, right? Because if he does it the other way, like that, okay, he's completely and utterly off balance. And as you see, as soon as he's off balance, the other guy can cut inside. If you're turning the other way, you are balanced to stop the shot. And you're balanced to go back in if he cuts it inside. So if you con that way, you're balanced here. And then you can cut back in this way, and your momentum will take you on that cut. On the way if he cuts back in. But if he carries on down the line, your momentum's already going there. It's one of those tiny little things that makes a massive difference with footballers. When they get it right, it makes a world of a difference. But when this shot goes in, quality shot, I like this guy, Bosch, good quality finish. Do you see his reaction? Waves his leg. No one really cares. Look, and that's a team that doesn't care. Because, well, you can see they don't care. Now, why is that important, Kesh? What are you talking about? No players are yelling at each other. No one's holding each other accountable. No one's saying, why didn't you get closer to him? No one's saying, why didn't you track back hard enough? So that means no one is holding each other accountable in that team. So that also means there's no leaders there. There's no one really, no one's caring and there's no leaders. You're pretty much going to have a rubbish rest of the season. Because I know it might be, what is this, the fourth goal, I think? But you should be screaming at each other when you're 4-0 down in the first half. You don't put your heads down and go, where? You get passionate, you get emotion. And if there's no passion and emotion, there's nobody caring. And that is a real worry for West Ham. Okay, so here we go. And we're looking at this lack of passion and just overall not great play from West Ham. We've got our little bank of 4-4-2, keeping it tight like he tries to play. Someone step forward, so this line's all completely and utterly screwed. So what's really supposed to happen? He's supposed to be just a little bit further forward there, and this is what he can't be stepping forward. He has to be coming back in here to cover. Actually, he shouldn't be. The whole shape and system is completely wrong, right? He really shouldn't be coming back in to cover, but he has to, because this gap here is too big as well. It's just a complete and utter mess. It's just people switching off, and he just really, really easy. Look. Okay, this is again what bad football player, right? Why are you going to mark this player when you got a player right there? Okay. You don't care if he gets the ball, because if this guy gets the ball, he's going to score. So you don't drift and you leave this guy exposed. See that gap? By the way, this is happening more and more in the Premier League. I can't believe it. Like, if this was happening on any team that I've ever coached, I'd be screaming at them, because they just don't know what they're doing. It's like, I've told I've got to go and mark the player out wide, so I'm going to go mark him out wide. Yeah, but you're leaving your mate exposed. 1v1. And you're giving him the space to run into. If you moved over here, that is extra 3 yards, he's getting an easy run in. Look, watch, ball comes in. Now that he's completely and utterly out of position. He's caused that by going to mark a player that doesn't have the ball yet. Well, why are you going to mark the player that doesn't have the ball yet? Stay in your shape. When the ball gets close, you pressure it, and you try to mark the player closest to where you are in your shape. And he just drifts away from Saka. And this is another good thing that Saka did. He actually had a funny finish on him here, kind of like Mo Salah did the other week. Now, Mo Salah, to me, isn't scoring as many goals as he should, because he keeps trying to do the same little whiffy ball into that top corner there. The other week, before he went off to African Cup of Nations, he did him with the eyes, the keeper, to put him in that top corner like he always does, and he put it into the bottom corner right here. That's exactly what Saka does here. Look, Donk comes inside, does the keeper with the eyes, keep going that way. Donk, you can see, look, completely done him with the eyes, and he puts it into the bottom corner. Quality little finish. But that's all from the left back stepping forward too far, and the left midfielder just going on a walkabout, going on a complete walkabout from that position. Look, do you see? Right. So if you're this guy here, as soon as he starts stepping forward, you know he's got more space. Watch. Donk, 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 donk. He starts going there. You go, oh, mate, you're an idiot. There you go. Have that, son. Off you go. And he opens up the gap there. Terrible defending. Do you see this guy here? He could have been coming back, but the overall shape of them is just all wrong in the first place. Like, this guy shouldn't have been pressing the ball. It should have been him. Everything is just completely wrong. But there we go. Okay, they're 5-0 down, so you got to go. You know, it's hard to sort of rag on them just because they're mentally broken at this point, and you can just look at how many players are back in a straight line. There's nobody in the middle of the field here. Absolutely nobody. Like one of those things when you draw a little box and you suddenly realise there's nobody in that middle of the field there. Everyone's back here. That means there's no pressure can go on this ball whatsoever. It's just a little dink back out over to the D area here. As this ball drifts in though, someone gives him a call, and it's old Declan Rice. Obviously he used to play for West Ham. And up he steps and scores a worldie and bangs it into the net box. Yeah, great strike, to be honest. Best goal of the game. And of course he doesn't celebrate because he came from, you know, that was his last club. And I kind of understand that, but also, yeah, he gave them a European Cup. He should be able to do what he wants. But I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.